everyone, Kevin back from Sticks and Stones, and I found a little piece of cottonwood bark, so I'm going to try and get another video up for you guys. This right here's a real scrap piece, but I'm going to see what I can get out of it anyway. So I got my marker and I'm going to draw a couple of eyebrows on here, and we'll just make a little goofy face on this one, but we'll try to put a couple of techniques we've been covering in it. You know, maybe a little braided type of hair around the mouth, and I'll try to put a goofy mouth on them. Some of you guys want to see a little more under the eyes, that's for sure. So I'll try to make those a little bit better, but still waiting for my burrs, but next video they will be here, and I'll be able to do much better carvings for you guys and see what we can come up with. So I just drew 2 lines here for those eyebrows to start, and cut them out quick with a Quetzal tapered bit. Now I got my marker and I'm just going to cut out the nose quick. We said in a lot of these videos I'm using certain tools, but I gave a lot of my tools away. They're on loan right now to a buddy of mine, so I'm running a little shy. So I'm just using what I got in the shop right now. Didn't think I'd be wanting to do this many videos at the moment, but oh well. Got plenty to work with here. This Quetzal tapered burr will work good enough for what I'm doing. And I'm cutting the nose out with it. In another day or two I'll have my new bits that I ordered, and we'll just go to town and see what we can make. So I'm cutting out under the eyes with this tapered burr. And I'm hoping this wood is thick enough to do what I want on it. But you know how carving goes, we'll figure something out and at least end up with somebody on this piece of wood or bark. Alright, I'm going to try and draw in a goofy type mouth, and we'll give him some teeth. I'm hoping that it doesn't break out on me because he's kind of papery. I can feel it already. I'm going to try and get some teeth in here. And a different type of mouth compared to what we've been doing. Kind of like one of the drawings that we did. Something like that. Then we'll give him a couple of teeth. Now, like I said, I don't know how this is going to come out. I'm going to try and salvage him and hopefully come up with something that's pretty decent. But on this piece, I don't know. After carving that knot in the last video, this piece doesn't feel too healthy to me. I'm really scrounging for cottonwood bark. And good old Jordy there is sending me some cottonwood bark up from BC up his way. I appreciate that. When I get that in, I'm going to carve him something nice and make a video on it, and we'll have some better stuff, because this is really scrap that I'm going through in my box. A lot of it's cracked in the back and everything else, and it's really thin for the stuff that I want to carve. But that's okay. I'm cutting the teeth out with these bits. Still be able to come up with something. And I'm just outlining it here with the tapered bit. As you can see on cottonwood bark, this bit works really good, almost like a pencil. You can draw right on with it and take a lot of this stuff out. Not much to bark when you hit it with one of these aggressive Quetzal burrs. Takes it right off, and you'll be able to dig down and pretty much make whatever you want. There's hardly any grain at all in cottonwood bark as far as the way it runs. You can carve it either way. It's kind of like basswood, only even easier to carve. I mean, there's grain, don't get me wrong, but the way the grain is you can carve either way, up, down, sideways, and it's going to carve. Unlike some other woods where, you know, they work much better when you're following the grain, like basswood. You try to cut basswood and go the opposite direction, you're going to have to flip the whole piece over, where with cottonwood bark, you really don't have to. It's going to cut either way. I'm trying to draw kind of like braids around the mustache, like in the one drawing that we did. I don't know if I can pull it off on this piece right now, but we'll try to get something like that in. I didn't put too many loops or anything too difficult in, so you can try this technique. and then I undercut going down on the way down, and I'll dig them out a little bit more later on in the video, and we'll see if we can actually make them pop out. But it'll give his beard a little, beard and mustache a little bit of a different look. Just trying to give you guys ideas in these videos of different things you can do. Kind of bring those wood spirits all into different areas as far as the way they look. You know, every one that you do will be a little bit different. Some will be nicer than others, but the techniques are there, and once you get the ideas down and have an idea how to do it, then you can mix and match all these little things I'm trying to do in these videos and come up with your own original characters and hopefully improve in your spirits. Okay, I'm back up at the eyes again. Trying to take them corners out. Right by the nose is real important when you're doing eyes. A lot of people keep asking me about eyes. They're the main problem with a lot of beginner carvers, even advanced carvers. I mean, I still try to figure out what I'm doing with eyes half the time. But the big secret with eyes, besides practicing them, is giving yourself enough room to do them. See how big I make those circles there? Now, the bigger you make those circles underneath those eyelids, not the, these are going to be eyelids in here. But give yourself enough room. Make a big circle first. That half a circle that I'm drawing under there. Now, that underneath there could be one big eye, one big bag, and then put the eyes in the middle of it and use that circle as a bag, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. I'll try to show you that as we go. And just trying to get that mouth cut out underneath. I really don't like that mouth. It looks pretty stupid, so this guy's going to be kind of goofy. But we're going to try and show you a different technique as far as, making some hair on the beard. Since this piece isn't the greatest, but I could show you some quick ways to do some tufts of hair and break up the beard and make that a little bit better. Well, not better, but a little bit different than, what we're usually used to with doing hair. So you see how I'll draw shapes in first, and then layer the shapes, and just put them around randomly, but it really does break up the beard and give it a different look, as opposed to just drawing lines. Now, this is a little trick I use as far as eyes. You guys can take it for what it's worth, but I'll draw a dot in the corner, then draw another dot as across the eye, and then connect the dots with a line. Okay, that way I can keep my line pretty straight, or place it where I want a lot more accurately. It makes the eyes more even. And I don't know if I could pull these eyes off in this bark with my knife, but I'm undercutting, I'm stop cutting, and I'm going to make these eyes pretty thin. So, taking the corners out after I stop cut it and cut up to it. And then I got to draw two more dots, one dot on one end, one dot on the other, and I'll connect the dots with another line, and that's going to be his lower eyelid. So the first line that I drew on top and stop cut out was his upper eyelid. But you see how small I'm making these at the moment? So I'm going to try and put the eyes inside this little tiny space that I'm cleaning out now. And I'll take my knife and, after I stop cutting everything, take the corners out of those, in between those two lines, and try and get a little bit of roundness. And then I'll just kind of scoop downward from the top down and then from the bottom up, and try and take the wood out in between those lines, and I'll have a little tiny space to put some small eyes. I don't know if, like I said, I'll be able to do it too good in this little piece. As far as I really made it pretty shallow. Should have given myself a little bit more room, to be honest. But it's a different way to, again, do another set of eyes that looks totally different than the normal big eye that we usually do, a bigger eye. And I'll take those corners out. I'm trying to get those corners out. So I can get a little bit of roundness to shape it over. I'll just take a V-cut out of both sides and then take that chip out. So if you want to try to set up eyes like this, you know, you make them a lot shallower, almost like squinty type eyes, beady little eyes, you know, and you could still put big eye bags underneath them and still get a pretty neat look. I'm just using my knife here. Suppose I could use the cone bit and other smaller bits also. Well, once I pick up my knife and I got cottonwood bark, I tend to just keep going with it. And this is just a little simple flex cut knife that I was actually carving the pine knot with it. I need to strop it. It's a little beat up. Again, there's that little dot trick that I do. And then I'll try to connect those dots and it'll give me an idea of where I want to run that line. Then I'll put a stop cut in and cut to my stop cut. I find that if I sorry. But if I do the dot trick, I put a dot on each side, it's a lot easier to keep your eyes even if you're making two different eyes, but you want to keep them centered, you know, because no matter how you raise or lower your face or your cheeks or whatever, the eyes pretty much stay even across. Now your eyebrows will raise, your cheeks will raise, all kinds of other stuff, but your eyes aren't going to change too much as far as the level plane that they're on. So they can really get messed up looking if one isn't, you know, quite as level with the other one as you think. You can make some pretty neat looking characters, but again, it can look really messed up if they're not even with each other as far as across goes. Okay, so keep that in mind sometimes when you're carving, and you just might find out your eyes are off. One eye's lower or higher than the other. Okay, I'm trying to pick out with my knife here, and I really should have stropped it a little bit more after I just gave it a quick couple of swipes on my strop, because I was picking at that pine knot with it, or that fir knot in the last video. So it's tearing it out a little bit and stuff, and that's my fault. But I'm going to try and get some of this mouth started and some teeth. I'm trying to outline them by stop cutting with my knife in there. I should have just went around it with the comb bit and see if I could get better teeth, because I can feel how papery this piece is. And I might not be able to pull off the bottom teeth here, because that feels kind of weird to me when I'm poking in. The top ones I could probably get. Well, we'll see what we come up with. Speaking of the little cone bit, this is what I'm using here. And I'm trying to poke a little bit of eye holes in there and try to shape it out a little bit. See how tiny I made those slits? Now that'll give them a different look, but at the same time, it can be trouble trying to get your tools in there and trying to get at them. So I'd really rather have some smaller eyes in this one and some big puffy bags underneath them. Again, for a different expression. I'll have to do these eyes in another video, because I really don't like this piece of bark or the mouth that I put on them. But this is also another neat look if you can get these eyes right. and you can give your spirits a whole different expression. Same with the eyebrows I got going on here. They're kind of weird. You know, they're not your traditional raised up eyebrows or anything. They just kind of swoop down into almost like a W above his head. If you look at the eyebrows, they come down and then go up again and meet in the middle. There's that big cutter, my Dremel cutter, and I'm going to just try and dig some quick hair up there in the top, a hairline anyway, and I'll clean it up later and shave up to it with my knife or something. Right now I'm just using what I got, like I said, and I'm just going around them, trying to come up with a different character, someone different. Not really going to put too much time into this carving. I'll wait till I get a better piece of bark. But you do get bored carving the same one, so I'm just trying something different. Don't really have a plan for this one or any thoughts. I'm just kind of going with the wood and seeing what it'll allow me to do. And again, these little Dremel cutters, don't mock them and don't knock them, because if you're using cottonwood and you want to dig in, I definitely prefer the Kutzel burrs when I'm doing this, but you can get pretty good detail with these, as you see me do in the other video. I mean, most of that video I had to use nothing but my Dremel burrs, so whatever you got, even if you just got a knife, which I'm using here to push that wood up into those cuts I just made and clean up the forehead a little bit. Use what you got and collect as you go. Now I'm making a stop cut in between those, actually pinching them together almost, and then pushing my nose up into them. And then trying to clean the eyebrows off and round them over a little bit, or I won't even be able to see the little eyes I put in because they're hanging down pretty good, which is okay. It's kind of what I was going for. Anyway, so yeah, this knife needs a stropping. Those knots can beat these up. That's why I use a lot of these flex cut tools. If I break it, I'll go out and I'll get another one for less than 20 bucks. Doesn't bother me at all, but I'm definitely not going to destroy a nice Helvy or something on a knot when I'm carving it, that's for sure. These knives are great quality for the money. If I break one, I just get another one. And using these most of the time on most of my carvings. Unless I'm going to do basswood and carve little blocks of basswood or have some big things to rough out. Then I'll get some bigger, better knives out. But for now, flex cuts are sufficient for me. They're good. I really like them. They feel great in my hand. I can carve all day with them. My hand doesn't get tired because of the shape of them. So if you're looking for a decent knife, I always put them in the links. And they don't break your pocketbook. Now I'm back to the tapered burr. I'm trying to go around above, just a little bit above that mouth and above that mustache. Believe it or not, that is a mustache that we put the braids on. But that's behind the mouth, kind of like he opened his mouth real wide and it kind of just pushed back. It's not hanging down in front of his mouth like we usually do. So that's the idea for that type of mustache, even though he doesn't impress me at the moment. And we got a little bit of eyes in there. I'll try and slope him down a little bit and take some wood above his forehead down to raise those brows. And again, I like to do my little wrinkles around the sides of his eyes. Gonna have to make those lines in the braids in the mustache right here a little bit more pronounced because you won't really be able to tell. And then at the end, when I can only go so deep and I know I'm going to start poking through, I'll have to get my wood burner out so I can define all these and at least hopefully make them look like somebody. And for right now, I'm just kind of shaving and seeing how much different things I can put in them to make them look interesting, since the bark definitely isn't going to help me as far as having a nice thick piece to get some depth with. So I broke up that beard a little bit. Those are just random little shapes, one underneath the other. You can undercut into the next one. You can just leave them raised, and then you put hair in between. But a lot of you ask about hair, and that's one technique I use a lot. It makes see what I'm doing here? I'm just cutting shapes. Alright, like I said, think of your hair in groups. And cut a little shape, and then detail that shape. And you can make them all separate, you can make them random, you can put them in a pattern, it's up to you. But it's a quick, easy way to zip a bunch of hair in and have different levels. Different heights and different shapes. And you can make his whole beard, you can even do his mustache like this. I've done his hair on top like this. I've made them leaf-shaped and then carved them like leaves. There are all kinds of different things you can do just from this one little thing. So this video is more about, just taking something away like that one little nugget, Or maybe just trying an eye that's different. Not really trying to make a killer carving here. I'm just trying to use this piece of wood and give you guys another video that maybe will give you a little help, and you'll see something in this one you didn't see in the last one. That a light bulb goes on, you go, oh, I could do that. I never did that before. So that's what I'm trying to achieve with putting a lot of these videos out back to back like this. And I'm just trying to do it when I get the time also, because winter's here and all kinds of different things going on, and get extra chores up my way in PA during the winter. Things get cold and things break around the house. Sometimes we get big ice storms. So while I can, I'm going to sit and make videos. Try and stay warm in the shop. And I'm going to put a lot of drawing videos on the channel too. I think they really help people and give you ideas. So I wood burned him. He's not bad. He's different. You see the braids. After I wood burned him, I sand him down. And we got a different beard. And we got a little bit of braiding going on in his mustache. He got some teeth. I don't like his mouth, like I said, but the eyes are definitely different than what you're used to. On the desk back here, I remember that little pencil holder we made? Yeah, he's still here, and I got paintbrushes and everything else in him. And this guy right here was inspired after watching Jordy and Ryan Cook get together and make their little wood spirit on the tree. I've done these guys a lot too, and I just had to make one because those guys were making them and they got me inspired. So here's the piece that we did today. Again, not some of my best work, but hopefully you guys got a couple ideas out of them, and you enjoyed this quick little vid. I want to give a shout out to all my boys in the carving world. There's Jordy at Carving Fusion. Keep up the good work over there. We got Just Carve Rob, of course. His back's better, and he's up in carving, so go check his channel out. Bummer about Yoda's head breaking there, Rob. Glue him up, make another one. Just carve it. You'll be good. We got Bap over there in Ireland forming a pretty good channel over there, too. Check out I Can Carve on YouTube. Bap's a great guy. You'll love his accent. I know I do. Okay, guys, so that'll be it for this one. I'm going to be making more videos this week, so keep an eye out on the channel. And I will see everybody in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.